Hey everybody, Tan is live, and I am live in the kitchen today. This is not Sunday dinner. This is Tan adding to a really great meal. Um, so I have some things that I need to use, or want to use in the kitchen. I have some things that I want to use in the kitchen, and okay. So I've said before, a recipe is a guideline to help you create a recipe or make a product. Now, if you are a cook or you are familiar with, food processes, you can look at a recipe and say, well, if it's tomato soup, I gotta have tomatoes. You probably have some basil, some olive oil, and some aromatics, some garlic, some onions, like that. So basically, if you take that tomato soup idea and you apply it to something else, you can think, well, I really like tomato soup. So if I add some extra ingredients, then I'll have a tomato soup. Something with extra ingredients, maybe some meat, maybe some vegetables, stew. You turn tomato soup into stew. So I had some things that I wanted to use in the kitchen. And I say this all the time. When I'm a gardener and I only grow what I like. So every year I'm going to have some tomatoes. I'm going to have that basil out there in the garden, peppers, cucumbers, melons, but that's just it. So I have some tomatoes. I got them from the store. I have some tomatoes. I have some onions. And if you see my previous lives, I prep my vegetables and I put them in the freezer. Yuri, hey. Yes, Yuri, basil is awesome. So I had all these things prepped in the freezer. And then I had, let's see, a lamb shoulder rack. Now, I didn't want to do all the fancy that I've seen with a lamb. And there are tons of lamb recipes. But what I've said is, for me, when I'm trying a new recipe, I'm looking for the thing that looks the easiest or has the least amount of ingredients. That's what works for me. When I'm trying something new. That way, if I don't like it, I haven't wasted a whole bunch of stuff. And that makes me happy. But if it's great, then I got a good idea as to what I need to do to make it better, improve on it, or just stay with the recipe that I'm following. Now, I'm saying that because I have a new recipe. Let me tell you what it's called. Lamb chops in tomato sauce. Now, I'm not using lamb chops. Like I said, I had that lamb shoulder rack. So, in essence, I'm following a recipe with the items that I have to come up with something. So, the recipe that I follow was lamb chops in tomato sauce. Tan loves tomatoes, and I have lamb chops, so I thought I'd do exactly that. Now, let me jump to the recipe so I can tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing today. I'm not cooking this today, but I do have it prepared already, and I told y'all, Tan is late in the game to get this pressure canner. I got this thing, and it's a game changer for your girl. Oh, it's gonna be on and popping this winter. I'll be having stew, I'll be having beans, everything that I would normally put in my slow cooker that I can't find right now. I'm gonna put in this thing and have it in a fraction of the time. This thing is awesome. I showed y'all the Big Boss, the blue one that the non-gardener has that started my obsession with this thing. But this is mine. It's a baby, but it works. And I'm so happy I got it. Let me jump to the recipe so I can tell you. Look, let me see if I can get a picture of this. I want y'all to see. This is what the recipe looks like. This is what their finished recipe looks like, right? tomato lamb chops and tomato sauce. So I put mine in this pressure canner with all the ingredients. Let me jump to the recipe. I put mine in this cooker right here. I put that lamb rack in there. Actually, I seared it off first in some olive oil. I seared all the sides. Then I put in my other ingredients. There are mushrooms in here. There's onions. There's green peppers. Like I said, my vegetables were prepped already. Y'all saw me cut up all those onions and freeze them. You saw me cut up all the peppers and freeze them. So I just took a chunk of peppers, dropped them in here. I took a clove of the onions, dropped them in here. Then I also added mushrooms because the recipe calls for mushrooms. I put those mushrooms in there. Then, because I need to use this too, I also put some roasted sweet peppers in there. And I believe this is what set it off. The only bad, well, not bad thing, the only thing that I did not really like about this, it is packed in oil. And that's okay. Maybe the flavor was in the oil too, because I put the whole thing in there. I just dumped the whole jar. So, let me tell you about the recipes. The recipe is 1 large onion, 1 medium pepper, some mushrooms, 8 lamb chops, dried or mixed herbs, chopped tomatoes, tomato puree, Worcestershire sauce, teaspoon of salt, and pepper. Now, I didn't put the Worcestershire sauce in there, but what I did do was add a Lipton, well, it's not Lipton, onion soup packet. I put it in there. But we're here today because I grew these potatoes in my garden. I grew potatoes in my garden, and I said that I like stew. So this one is really watery. It's liquidy, and I don't have a problem with that, but Tan likes stew. I like it the way it is, but I also like stew. Now I have these potatoes, and I don't want them to go to waste. That's what it's looking like on the inside. You can see a little bit of the pepper still hanging on in there, but that lamb rack totally broke down in there, and the flavor was awesome. Now what I have done is taken a napkin and I blotted off all that excess oil that I did not like. Now what I'm gonna do right now is cut up the potatoes. I'm gonna cut up my potatoes that I grew in my garden, and I'm gonna get them in that pot and I'm gonna let them cook. Now I've washed up my potatoes. I just need to get them cut, and some of them are small enough that I'm probably just gonna throw them in there whole. And this is not Sunday dinner, this is just me adding to a meal item. And I thought I was gonna throw these potatoes in the pot while they were cooking, but then I didn't know if I would put them in there and they would break up or not. So, and plus I wasn't around to control it. Like, I started my pot and then I started working on other things. Get those in there. Yeah, this cooker for the winter is gonna make my chili game, my chili stew bean game off the charts. Off the charts. So speaking of gardens, Tanner's a gardener. The heat is dancing around in my yard. The heat is dancing around in my yard, and everything looks like the desert. Some stuff is still hanging on, but some of it is trying to give it up. Some stuff trying to give it up, y'all. And I'm debating if it's time for me to give up. Now, I showed y'all the other day on a lot, I harvested that pomegranate. I was testing to see if it was ready or not, because I got a bunch of big ones out there, and I've been watching them on the tree for a minute. My mind says they should be ready. The one that I did harvest was still white on the inside, and I know my pomegranates are red when they're ripe on the inside. But you know, I still got that in my belly. I sure did. And it was delicious. They were not ripe and red, but they were tart and sour and white. And I'm looking at my tree. My tree was so lush and green. maybe a month ago. Now it's losing all the leaves. Oh, what's going on with you? Now it's losing all the leaves, well, most of the leaves, and it's see-through. It's see-through right now, so I'm like, well, should I go ahead and harvest my pomegranates now, or should I leave them um, till they get right? I don't know. I don't know what to answer you. So, and this right here, these cutoffs that did make it in the pot, they're going straight to my compost. Now, speaking of basil, who is that? Yuri. Speaking of basil, let me get this started. I'll tell you about my basil. Let's see. What am I doing wrong? Come on now. Come on now. You know I'm on live. Don't be acting up. There we go. Pressure, pressure. And I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pressure this for maybe 15 minutes. Pressure, I'm gonna say soup. Soup. Then I'm gonna say, since it's 10 minutes. So I got it on start now. You say you like basil. Now, I was telling you how my garden is out there getting kicked around by the sun, right? I grow basil. One of my basil plants has totally dried out. But I got one that's hanging on out in the cut. I went out there to get some basil and it's all shriveled up. So I washed it. And I put it in some ice water, try to, get it just right. Now this is for garnishing. I'm just gonna sit it on top of my stew once it's done. And that's what that's for. Let me get my compost. Let me get my little compost thing get out of the way. So yeah. And the only thing I need, I feel like would make this thing right here better is some cornbread. That's what Dad the Great says, some cornbread. But I don't have none and I'm not cooking none. And I'm gonna link this recipe. Like I said, this thing is kind of a one pot. I put all my ingredients in here. After I seared off my lamb rack, I just dumped in my mushroom. I dumped in whole tomatoes that I had frozen. I dropped in that onion soup packet. I put some garlic powder, some onion powder, the peppers and the onions, and I let it go. I came back to a delicious pot of yum yum, right? And that's what I'm adding to my yum yum today. I will finish off this pot today with some potatoes. Next time I make this, I will probably make it like a stew. Put more ingredients in it to make it thicker, but it's really delicious. And that's what I try to say about a recipe. If you like something, you could always create something different with it. I had someone in my life previously, Gabby. Gabby said, yuck, I don't like cabbage. I was making that viral, the dirty cabbage. Me and the sister garden was making that viral dirty cabbage. Gabby said, ooh, I really don't like cabbage. She said, but I do like bacon. Well, if you like bacon, build a recipe around bacon. You can make a BLT. You could add bacon to your baked potatoes. You could top your pizza. There's infinite things you could do with bacon. Even just use it for seasoning. But yeah, I understand bacon is going to be a texture thing too, because I like my bacon kind of crispy, and some people might like theirs rubbery and chewy. But either way, it's for me, it's going to be a flavoring thing. That's what makes a recipe or a meal item ingredient. It's the flavor profile. So I have a previous video, or maybe a live, on trumpet squash. I've watched another YouTuber. She made trumpet squash ceviche. Now, I do not like normal ceviche because my mind can't like the texture of the fish or the seafood that's in there. However, I do love the flavor profile. Now, the trumpet squash, when I put them in, I think That was peppers, lemon juice, onions. Oh my God, it was so great. And I put hot pepper in there because I like a little bit of kick. Well, the trumpet squash is more firm and not as slimy. So that was awesome. And you know what I did? I took the marinade off that trumpet squash because I ate the trumpet squash. I made nachos with it. I put it on my sandwiches like relish. That thing went so far. That trumpet squash ceviche is very versatile. But after I ate all the little pieces of trumpet squash and the peppers that was sitting in the marinade, I had the marinade left over. Y'all, I took that thing, I added a little bit of butter to it. I don't know, I wasn't reducing nothing, but Tam would try some stuff, right? I put some butter in it and I let it simmer on the stove for a little bit. And then I put some pasta in it and I topped it with some bacon. Bacon for the win, y'all. I topped my pasta with some bacon, um, and it was delicious. Now I said all that to say, all recipes are versatile. All you gotta do is have a little bit of imagination. And if you go overboard and you don't have your food license, you're gonna be disappointed and you're probably gonna waste a lot of ingredients. So don't do that. I don't want you out there saying, Tam said I could make this if I did that. Well, don't do that. Don't do that. Know what you know and grow on that. You know, if you can scramble an egg, you probably can make an omelet. You're probably gonna have a deconstructed omelet when you first start trying it, but eventually you'll learn how to roll that egg and make the shape of an omelet, fold it, however you like your omelet. But you know, it's a process, and cooking is a journey. Let's see, I feel like I have 10 seconds. Oh, and we gonna release the steam on this thing, y'all. Oh, we we gonna release the steam, release the kraken. That's what we gonna do. So when this thing goes off, we're gonna release the steam, and I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna see if I hope my potatoes are done. Um, I put it in there for the suggested time. I don't know if that's 10 minutes or 10 seconds. Either way, I'm ready to check this out. I know it tastes delicious. The flavor is on point. I'm gonna link this recipe too for this. Let's see what the name of this thing is. Lamb chops and tomato. Lamb chops and tomato sauce. And this is a British recipe. I'm surprised. It's a British recipe, but it's really delicious. And like I said, I'll link this recipe so you can try it. And it's always something. Uh, Let me get back to the recipe so I can tell you. I probably did not add all the ingredients that the recipe called for, but I did add the main ingredients. And for me, the main ingredients would have been tomatoes, mainly tomatoes. The other stuff is kind of okay. That's gonna be up to you for choice. If you don't like onions, you probably would have put onions in it. If you don't like peppers, you might not have put peppers. But you would not have come up with the same flavor profile that I did. I added onions, I added peppers. She says a medium pepper for color. I like the flavor of the peppers, you know, so I added some green peppers and I also added those roasted red peppers. I did not do tomato puree, but I had a whole lot of fresh tomatoes. I had about 5 or 6 fresh tomatoes that I froze. Like, I didn't want them to go bad, and I wasn't gonna use them right away. So I washed them and I put them in the freezer whole. I took those whole tomatoes and I put them in here, and they broke down. Well, actually, I started on slow cook to thaw them out so I can get the core out, and I just left the rest of it in there. I did not use Worcestershire sauce, and I'm always gonna use some variation of salt and pepper. Like I said, I did not have lamb chops, but I did have a seasoned lamb rack that I seared in this thing. Got it all nice and crusty, some flavor in the bottom of my pot, and I let it cook. And I'm really thrilled with the product that I came out with. And it was just me taking stuff that I have in my kitchen that I like. And that's what my pantry is. It's full of stuff that I like to eat. And all the stuff that I like to eat can be combined to make something unique or something new. And even if I don't have all the ingredients for a new recipe, it's likely that I have most of the ingredients already in my pantry. And that's what makes me happy. So, I mean, you got to think about what you want in your pantry too. If that's you want to build a pantry, just think about the things that you like. And if you have the things that you like in your pantry, and you are a cook and you want to cook, all you gotta do is pull some stuff out, throw some stuff together. And if you don't have this thing, you have a big old pot, just put it on the stove on low. If you don't have this thing, you probably already have a slow cooker. Because this is just, it's kind of like a pressure canner slow cooker reinvented. That's all this is, but it's magical. It's magical. How did I not know about this thing sooner? Well, I knew, but I was in the process of saying, I'm not buying any more kitchen gadgets. Tan has tons of kitchen gadgets and I love them all. I see them and I want to buy them. I want to buy all the new gadgets because I'm a foodie. I'm a cook. Some people are techies. If there's a computer with increased amount of RAM or whatever that stuff is, they gotta go get it. Well, I like to go get kitchen gadgets. My house is full of gadgets and I love them all. So look, I got 8 minutes to get this going. Now, I was saying pomegranates, right? So I did harvest that one pomegranate from my garden. I'm looking at my tree and there's a whole bunch of them out there. And my tree is looking really sad. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research and see if I should pull them all. If I'm aware around, the information to see if I should pull them all. I can pull them all and not have a problem and enjoy them because they are ripe. The kernels are formed. They're just not that rich red color that I'm used to seeing from my pomegranates. But my tree looks sad, y'all. It looks a mess. And I would be out there kicking around in my garden right now, but let's see what temperature it is right now because we have had consecutive days without rain. And I looked at the weather and I did a post. We are about to have a bunch more consecutive days of triple degree weather. And that's all fine and good. Oh my goodness. Today it says getting up to 106 degrees. Look. It says 106. Yesterday it was 105. Ooh. Oh wow. And it has changed. I was looking, I was saying winter was coming. It looked like one day next week or the week after we was gonna get down to 97 degrees, but the weather has changed. The update has changed. Boy, we about to, it's a heat wave. Heat wave burning in my yard. What else if I tell you? So, yeah. I'm gonna weigh around and see if I should pull those pomegranates. They are ripe, but they're not red. But I will enjoy them nonetheless. Y'all be getting distracted. No precipitation. Expected in the next 10 days. Ooh. Y'all, my electric bill, Mom the Great used to say my electric bill is off the chain, off the charts. Is this phone about to die? Is this one on? Yeah. So this is not a long live. As always, my lives are limited by my janky phone and my janky battery on my janky phone. If I was outside, I would say due to the heat. But so yeah, in my pot, I have lamb. I'm gonna soup. The recipe that I used for was for tomato lamb chops, but I didn't want to do all that. I had a lamb shoulder rack. That's what I had. So I put the whole thing in here. I seared it off, and I added some mushrooms, peppers, onions, and a soup packet. And that's what I'm cooking off now. I'm cooking now. I grew potatoes in my garden, and they were sitting on the counter. Uh, okay, so I got some potatoes. I went home, and sitting in the floor of my parents' house was a bag of potatoes that had started sprouting. So I called all the siblings. I'm like, who these potatoes belong to? Nobody wanted them, so I said, okay, well, I'll take them. And I brought them to my garden and I planted them. And sure enough, they started to grow. And the first heat wave killed them back. The plants died, so I said, well, yeah, I better go ahead and harvest them now before, they stay in the soil too long and they get bad. I pulled them out and I had a whole bunch of baby heirloom potatoes. So I made this lamb soup, tomato lamb, and it was really thin. I really like a stew. I like something thick and hearty. But so I got to thinking today, I might as well go and use those baby potatoes because I don't want them to go to waste after I've grown them. And then I ran out to the yard. I ran out to my garden, y'all. This is not a cup of ice water for tan. I ran out to my garden and I got some basil. It's me being silly, y'all. I got some basil from a one little basil plant that's still hanging on off in the cut. It was all shriveled up. I put it in some ice water and it's starting to stand up. And this is only for garnishing because once I put my soup in my bowl, it's gonna look like a bunch of red. The only thing this is missing is some cornbread. And I didn't feel like making no cornbread, but I have cornbread. Oh, I do. I think I did make that sweet cornbread. Got Ted in the pantry. Ted is in the pantry, y'all. But when I'm making cornbread, this is what I like, that Texas sweet cornbread. And I get this from the dollar question mark tree. I think it's $1.50 now. Used to be $1 back in the day. That's another thing I keep Tan keeps in the pantry. But yeah, I'm waiting on my soup to get done. I want to crack it open and see if my potatoes are done. They were small. Potatoes were really small. So they should be done. What am I looking for in the pipe? Yeah, I feel like I want to make some brownie waffles. I feel like I want to make some brownie waffles, y'all. We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. What else am I gonna do? Oh, so my fig tree is also looking sad. I went out yesterday and I harvested one fig. Y'all, that fig was so delicious. My fig tree is so sad, it's dropping baby figs. I was blaming my tenant for getting my figs that I didn't see, that I was counting on getting in my belly. When I go back out there, they were gone. but I looked on the ground and they dropped on the ground. However, it was very surprising yesterday when I went out and I found another ripe fig. I was so excited. I was so excited. Yeah. And I polished it off in no time. It got straight in my belly. Yeah. Then I have lemons too. I'm finally growing lemons, y'all. I've been having lemon envy for a very long time. I'm finally growing lemons, but that heat has destroyed my little lemon tree that could. One of them is all shriveled up, and the other one has no leaves at all. So I'm hoping for a comeback. All right, y'all. Now this is what I've seen people do. So this is what I'm gonna do. I normally let the steam go all off. Y'all want to see the steam? Let me know. You want to see the steam? Somebody hit the chat and let me know if you want to see the steam. If you want to see the steam, I'll push that thing and step back. Otherwise, I'll cover it. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. You got no preference? No problem. Hold up. Yo, I am scared of pressure canners. My mom used to say, my mama used to say that they blow up. And they don't blow up, but they will explode on you if you don't depressurize that thing before you open it, a pressure cooker. And I've been horrified of pressure cookers my whole life for that reason. There we go. I'm about to get into this goodness. Yes. Where's my... Yes. Terry's about to plate up some goodness, y'all. Let's see. About to open it up and see what it do. See if my taters are done. It's still bubbling. I see my potatoes. My potatoes that I grew in the dirty garden, y'all. I washed them up. I cut them and I sliced them into wedges. Right now I just need to see if they done. See if they soft. And they are. You see how that falls apart? You see that's tender? Yes. And that's what I wanted. And I think that took about 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and get this plated up. Like I said, this is lamb, tomato. The recipe says lamb and tomato sauce. I think I would call it lamb tomato soup. I have potatoes. I have mushrooms. Onions, peppers, so good. Put that back on. Work with me. Work with me. Come on now. You know I know how to get you back on there. Don't show out in front of everybody. What your mom used to say, don't get there you go. Yes. All right. Now, like I said, I want to get my basil on there. I went out to the garden and I picked fresh basil this morning. My basil was having complications of heat exposure. It's having complications of heat exposure, so I put it in an ice bath. I washed it up and I put it in an ice bath. All I have this basil for is a little bit of garnishing. Because I want a little bit of green on it. I don't want to alter the flavor on my dish at all. So that's all it is. I want to sit there for some greenery. Oh, it smells so good though. Y'all, this smells so good. I'm making sunflower perfume. I'm thinking a hint of basil will knock that. Oh, fresh basil is awesome. Now, I had a window gardener. The only thing she grew was basil on our windowsill. And every time she and her husband made pizza at home, she called and she said, Tan, that fresh basil is so nice. She said, I'm so glad you talked me into planting basil on the windowsill. But this basil right here, I can smell it. Look, right here, I can smell it behind the camera. It's so fragrant. I'm thinking I'm putting basil in my sunflower perfume. I'm going to consult with Phantom. She's my co-creator. Phantom is my co-creator, y'all. And we making perfume. We might not sell it because, you know, we can't keep up with production. But me and Phantom, ooh, y'all, this smells so good. Anyway, I'm going to sit that to the side. I ain't gonna talk to y'all about my fresh basil from my garden. But what I want to do, get a little spoonful here. Look. So I got some lamb. I'm going to grab some tater. And if you see, look, there's a little bit of tomato right there. There's the mushroom. Oh, I can't get it all on the fork. But I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm going to let y'all know. I wanted it thickened. But this is okay because I'm going to eat it. And I might put some pasta in here after I eat all my potatoes. But I'm going to let y'all know how this sits. Y'all, this is so good. It is so good. I'm going to link the recipe for this. And here's the thing. Speaking about recipes being versatile. If you don't have lamb, use ground beef. If you don't have ground beef, use turkey. You don't have turkey, use chicken. You don't have to use meat at all. If you are a vegetarian, I always go with mushroom as my meat substitute. I'm sure there's something else out there. I don't, you know, I'm not into that world. Maybe one day I'll go there. But I eat a lot of food with vegetables in it. But this recipe is versatile. You don't have to use the lamb. It's just the flavor profile that carries to your protein. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I'm gonna have to consult with Phantom and see if I need to put basil in our perfume. But this is delicious, y'all. This has been Tan the Great live in the kitchen. I made lamb and tomato sauce. Lamb and tomato sauce that turned into a soup for me because I did not want to slice up or cook individual lamb chops. It's delicious. I added potatoes grown straight from the dirty garden from store-bought potatoes. Oh, it smells good, it looks good, and it tastes awesome. Y'all know what's about to happen. I'm about to get this in my belly. Right? The only thing missing on this deal right here is some cornbread, as Dad the Great would say. You know, those potatoes are straight from my garden to my belly. And y'all, that is going to do it for Tan the Great today in the kitchen. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of what I'm getting up to. And as always, I thank y'all for watching. Bye. Yum. That's what that is. I'm going to link that recipe for y'all just in case you want to try the deliciousness of it all. Bye, everybody.